Welcome to the Sports Card Talk Show. Sports Card Talk Show with Kevin Anderson and Lorn Walker, the SkoL Brothers.
All right, welcome to episode 177 of the Sports Card Talk Show. We are going to have like a chat today.
Yeah.
Hobby chat.
Yeah, I like doing hobby chats. So.
Yeah. Been a little bit crazy at work, like everybody, like you said, but just finding the time to ask somebody and, really give them the attention that we really need.
I think you always hear it from old people, and I think we're just getting older, that time flies a lot faster the older you get. Like and, I remember being a kid and just like staring outside the window at school going, when was recess coming, all morning long. You just want, and now it's like, the week already flies by and you're going, man, I didn't get nothing done.
Right.
So, I think that's life. Just gets life. The older you get, it seems like the shorter your days are.
Yeah. We're going to try and stay on a topic list here. And I know that you got an exciting card and I moved up and graduated to some big boy cards for me.
Yeah.
I see some people posting some cards. I'm like, man, would you take out a mortgage to get that dang thing?
Oh, dude, though, the thing is the couple cards that you've picked up recently are just absolute bangers in my mind. They are, Holy Grail type cards as far as I'm concerned, but I'm in that mid tier of collectors. I'm not buying logo mans and
no
$5,000 101 NFL patch cards and stuff like that.
Right. So that was fun. Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first? Or?
Yeah. So the card that I picked up, which is a Holy Grail card of mine. I've had Bud Grant in my searches for like 5 years, and I occasionally see one of these post, and it's always like $300, $400, $500, $600, and I'm like, I'm just never going to own one of those.
Right.
One came up for auction at $100, $999.99 maybe. I can't. It was $100 card.
Yeah, I think I was with you when it was. Yeah.
And I'm watching it, and it doesn't take a bid. And this is what I do is I keep a card like that in my watch. I don't want anybody else to see that anybody else is. As soon as someone bids on a card that I've watched for a while, then I'm like, okay, if I don't bid on this, it's going to be gone.
Yep.
So I don't like putting that out there. And I sniped it at the last second, dropped my 100, actually more than that as a max bid, probably quite a bit more than $100. And I won it for the $100. And that's 1956 Parkhurst CFL Bud Grant SGC 5. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, a card that's, what is that? 65 years old almost.
Yeah. Yep.
In a condition of a 5. It's it's a Holy Grail card to my collection.
It's so awesome, man.
Whenever I even think about owning it, I still get like goosebumps and almost
right.
And you were here when we were shooting the episode. I'm like, dude, I got to bid on this card before we do go any further.
Now, I gotta say, I hear that a lot. Wait a second, 2 more minutes.
Yeah,
and you're like, I want it. And you're like, I didn't really need another one of those. This is the first time I've seen you. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So that was awesome, man, to see your reaction.
Yeah, I was. It was almost like I was floating on air when I was like, dude, I think I was. I'm like, I'm just.
Was that your pre-new phone too, where you were like, your other phone was like dragging, and it was like, I don't know yet for sure.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, my last phone. My old phone, retired phone, after a bid would be over, it would take like a minute before I could even see if I won the dang card. Because then it would just spin and like my screen would just be like. So if the cards were ending back to back, there was no way I was going to even be able to bid on a second card. Like if it was 20, 30 seconds later, my phone, I'm so happy I got a new phone.
Long time coming. So I think I posted one of these on Instagram, but it'll be the first time I think that really talked too much about these 2 cards that I just picked up on our channel here. I really like Panini Lux. I like the metal auto ones. So I picked up 15-16 Larry Bird Panini Lux Auto, 28/35. Just something about those cards. I don't know. I just really like it. The white ink jumps off of them.
They do.
Just sweet looking cards. And then I also picked up a Julius Erving Auto, 8/35, and bought those both pretty recently. And it just blows my mind that if you put those careers on a piece of paper and some of these new players, do you think they're even going to sniff those numbers?
Heck no.
And I picked these up for, I can't remember the player that you were even looking. You're like, it's over $200 already. I picked up both these for less than $200.
Dude, it was like, is his name Sean Gilligas Alexander?
Yeah,
is that his name? And
he might be good, but is he going to even sniff those careers?
No, and that card went for, I think I quit. I honestly can't remember what it ended for, but I got early in on the bidding just because I did.
Yeah.
Just bid on it because it was like a $10 card at the time or whatever. And I just do. A lot of times I bid on cards just to see what they end at. I win a small percentage of the cards I bid on just because it's a way to track pricing and get a feel on what comps are.
Yep.
And I was like, that card went for, it was well over $200 whenever last time I saw it. And you're picking these cards up for less than that. And I'm just like going, this guy ain't going to be as good as Larry or Dr. J. And those guys are Mount Rushmore basketball players in my mind. They're
maybe that's just us sounding old now. But I know chasing the new hotness is where everybody's at, which is great for us when we're
definitely
picking up Hall of Fame Dan Hampton, everybody's favorite.
Yeah, I know.
For $10.
I know. Like, Dan Hampton, man. Animal.
Nice. So those were some of the more recent purchases. There's been others, but these are kind of like the bigger ones that we made recently.
Yeah, we kind of strain away a little bit from doing our own personal mail day showcases.
Right.
Just trying to actually use use Instagram to show off our cards a little bit more in that regard.
Yep. So speaking of that, that's another place you can find us, Instagram. Twitter, we're on there, but we don't use it extensively. No. Instagram is where we're pretty active.
We honestly, I think it's the opinion of a lot of people. The Instagram community, for the most part, is just like super cool. And what I always hear about Twitter, I've never even been on it, is that it's kind of got a toxic vibe to it. And I don't know if
I thought that before too, and then the more I got onto it, it's all what you make of it, because there's negative on Instagram too.
Yeah, there is
for sure. I really want to try and make an effort to utilize Twitter more, but we'll see. Like we always say, we're old and time gets away from us, and it's everything we can do to do this and Instagram. And
I feel like me and you need to get on Facebook too, because there keeps on being more and more reasons to get on there.
Yes.
So
So really, we were going to talk a little bit about the last week and a half about about a week and a half now, right?
Yep.
We had our first sale. That was a lot of fun. We want to thank everyone that jumped in and joined us and chatted and picked up some cards. And
it was it's something that we've discussed doing for a long time.
Like a lot of things we do.
Yeah, and we finally committed to it. We both sold some cards that we didn't care about, some cards that, like, I love all my Viking cards, but I got rid of some Viking cards. And because I seen the pain. I don't need multiples of cards. So
you mentioned it. I don't even remember the card, but it was a numbered card, and you were like, I'm like, I can't believe you let that go. Well, I got like 3 other ones of the numbered series.
Yeah.
And that's my argument with you all the time. Dude, you don't need to have.
No, I don't.
X amount. You pick the one you really, really like, and maybe let a couple go.
I have an obsessive compulsive hoarding kind of personality. So like if I like a card, like I like it so much I want more than one. So,
right. Which is fine. It's totally fine, but I'm just trying to move you in that direction. There's lots of things that
the fact that we've kind of committed to wanting to go to nationals is kind of what spurred us to do the show, because it'd be like, I don't want to quit buying cards and I want to put away money to save for nationals. It's kind of
right.
So I was like, and this is one thing that I always thought when I first got back into the hobby, I always kicked myself for not like trying to sell all my cards from my childhood when I did nothing but rip packs. There's a ton of cards I could care less about there, and it's like, why don't I ever start doing that? And we didn't really get into too many. I don't know that I sold too many cards from my childhood so much, but I think I can put together some really cool cards we are going to do another sale. We enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
I know that there came a certain point where I think we both were seeing, stars, because after 3 hours, it's exhausting. And I think just big kudos to those guys that do this on a weekly or
regular basis
and hours. I know Eloy starts out in the evening, and whenever I used to deliver newspapers, I'd wake up to do papers at 2:00 in the morning, and he's still going. And I'm like and thinking back on that now, I'm going, where does he get the endurance to do that?
Right. That's kind of funny. All that to say that it was a lot of fun. We're going to make it we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Next Thursday, I think.
We're committing to
every other Thursday. So next Thursday will be the next one, and we'll make some posts about it.
Yeah.
We're going to try. We're going to try to do it every other Thursday.
Well, we're definitely doing it next Thursday.
For sure. Next Thursday. I just mean the continuing thing.
Yeah, and you're going on vacation here soon, so maybe I don't know where that's going to fall in line with us doing a sale that week or not.
Yeah, don't know if you want to tackle solo.
No, heck no. I don't know. I doubt it.
So that was a lot of fun. Kind of goes into something that I never thought I'd see. You being excited opening a box.
Dude. Monday. I mean, so many people open boxes, and you kind of watch them, and you just like, I don't like. I've watched you open plenty of boxes. I've opened a couple boxes. Nothing in these boxes ever really excites me. And honestly, you love hunting for retail. I don't so much, but whenever I find retail, it's exhilarating. And we gotten our football and basketball cards, and there's still racing cards on the shelf. And I'm like, I want to get some racing cards. I was excited to get them.
Yeah.
I was excited to open them on Monday. And it was a fun rip, and I don't even know if any of the cards I got were good.
It was a lot of fun and a lot of cool cards, and it was funny when we bought them. I'm like, well, we just have to find a couple people to challenge, and I think it was a matter of a couple days. I'm like, yep, dude, we got matchups lined up, and
you jumped.
Big thanks to Wento. He was the first one, and we already have the next one lined up. And
was that in a live that you and Wento kind of connected on that, or?
Yeah, I think it was in a live. I can't remember which live it was. Either Eloy's or Nico's. And racing got brought up, and he wanted to be a part of it, and we made it happen. It was a email, check through the mail. It was a lot of fun. We made it work, and we were super glad that he did it with us. So
it's kind of like, it's so funny that we run across some guys that aren't on Instagram, and it's email back and forth, but I don't think it's been since like Russo. Wasn't Russo cash in the mail?
Yeah.
And now, And when's the last time you got a check in the mail from somebody?
It's been a minute. Yeah. Lots of fun. Speaking of opening, I can't believe I got pointed.
Yeah.
I think I even made a joke. I'm like, because you're like, is it guaranteed two mems in an auto? I'm like, yeah, unless you get points. And I'm like, why did I say it?
Yeah.
Why did I even say it? Because sure enough, I got points.
Lady Luck came and kissed your box.
Yeah. All that to say, like you say, I like to look for retail, and I do. But I've moved way more than I've opened.
Oh yeah.
Part of it is the hunt and looking for it, and it is exhilarating, like you said. Even when you don't necessarily care to look, but when you do find it, you're like, oh my gosh, they have cards.
I almost like the one time that I went solo without you and I came across, I was almost like sick to my stomach, excited that there was actually cards on the shelf. So
right.
I don't do it as much as you do. You do it quite a bit more. I don't know. Maybe you don't get that feeling like that.
No, I do. Yeah. Cause it's rare. I mean, if I was more into opening baseball, like I like baseball cards. I'm not a big baseball guy though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could be buying stuff on a weekly basis, really.
It's kind of crazy because baseball cards are still humongous in the hobby, but is Topps just putting out way more?
I don't think they're getting flipped. The money's not there in the flip.
Okay,
so that stuff typically will be on the shelf a little bit longer, not much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Not much longer, because one day I was there for the stock and they didn't even bring the baseball over, and I could have got 4 mega boxes and the whole thing of hangers and packs, and I didn't get any of it, and I went back the next day, it was all gone.
Okay.
It'll go, but on the initial surge, it's available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the initial surge, the people that are waiting for the stalker to show up, they're all looking for the football and basketball.
Yeah, and soccer now too. Soccer Prism just dropped, and that went off the shelves fast too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So baseball and hockey, I typically can get. Even that stuff's getting hard to get though. Mm-hmm. Both of those.
I remember a year ago we were doing a Frozen Four showdown, and we were able to go up and pick up. I can't remember the name of that. Those hockey cards are really cool. Yeah, it was almost like select looking, but
Allure.
Yeah. Those cards were sweet looking.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that stuff you couldn't find on the shelves now.
No. Even that's like the baseball. It might be on the shelf for a day, but by the end of the day, it's gone. Yeah. So all that kind of brings us to. So much stuff happens in the hobby. It's,
mm-hmm.
and not a lot of it really affects us. So we don't talk a lot about that stuff.
No,
not that we're not aware of stuff happening, but
we talk amongst ourselves, but we don't really bring it to the show. And
well, like PSA grade, our PSA price is jumping.
Yeah.
Well, we don't grade. So
we always talk about grading.
Yeah.
And
now we probably won't grade.
Yeah, as soon as those prices jump, we're like, well, we missed the boat on that.
that's like a lot of things. So missed the boat on that. Although there's one thing that you jumped in, and
mm-hmm.
you might be ahead of the curve for us, especially. We're usually a little bit behind.
Yeah. Well, I honestly like even. But before we touch on that, I sent you a Maya Moore card that ended this week.
Oh yeah.
And if you go back a year or so, we did a trivia episode where I made you guess what card I bought, and I told you it's a Holy Grail. I didn't even know it was a Holy Grail card till I saw it, and then I saw it and I bought it. And I bought the thing roughly around $100 a year ago. This one that ended on auction just this past week went for over $1,000. Same exact card. Yeah. And I think for once I acted on like a gut feeling, and it's kind of paid off because I'll never be able to buy a Maya Moore card.
No,
probably again.
No, not in the near future for sure.
So this new gut feeling that I have, and it goes back to I was up at our local card shop, and this guy walks in, and he just picked up a $450 hobby box of Select or Prism or something, and I think he pulled a Herbert or a Burrow or something, and he was back for more.
$450 doesn't include either of those boxes, so whatever it was, he was back for one.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's and Fred's like, yeah, this is so and so, and introduces me to him, and he's like, yeah, this guy like bought and sold a house with not blockchain, but Bitcoin. And I'm like, he goes, yeah, Bitcoin used to be like, and I remember when Bitcoin came out, and like thinking, I don't get it. So
right.
But it's like cyber money, whatever cryptocurrency is what they call it. I'm like, I don't get it. So I didn't bother with it at all. And then he's like, don't sleep on blockchain, he tells me. And this is a guy that like is buying and selling houses with Bitcoin. He's telling me like 5 Bitcoins are worth like $100,000 or something. I think it's worth a lot more than now.
Yeah, just in that time frame, yeah.
And I'm like going, well, this guy knows the new world, you know. And like these new kids, they probably don't know how to fill up the window shield wiper fluid on their vehicles, but they know this stuff. And I'm like, so yeah, I bought into some of these blockchain cards. And just since when I started couple months ago, I'm seeing these cards like go for 5 times what I paid for a few of them early on. And now I haven't bought a blockchain card in probably a month. Mm-hmm. But I bought a few. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be able to buy another one again, but because I think they're catching on. I seriously think listening to that kid's little bit of ice, I think I got like 5 or 6 of them. Maybe these. Yeah, you were like, well, dude, it's a picture on your that you get to show on your camera on your phone or whatever. Is like, what's the point in that? You're not getting a physical piece of cardboard. And even that, dude, like when you think about that, why do we collect pieces of cardboard with mint on them? That's what we're doing. So what's the difference between that and a picture on your digital device, you know? And the new generation, you know, it goes back to, I was a humongous rock head. A lot of people like their vinyls, they like their CDs. But the new generation, they want their iPad or whatever they call those. What were those things called? What's it called? iPod. Yeah, their iPod with a kilobyte of music or videos on it, you know?
Kilobyte, huh?
Is that what it's called?
Oh,
what's it? Terabyte. That's what it's called. Yeah.
That's fun.
A kilobyte is it that tiny? Is that what a KB is?
I don't know, dude. I'm just having fun with you. Having you try and figure it out. All that, really, I still don't get it, but there, like you said, there's a lot of things that we don't have to get, really. I mean, just got to do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If we would have just take the plunge on a lot of things that we've thought about, like the sale, it probably took us a year to finally do one.
Mm-hmm.
Passed on so much stuff.
You were looking at TopShot stuff, and I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I still don't. I mean, I don't get it, but it's big, and you can't. I mean, good luck getting a pack. I mean, the queue is huge.
So you actually have to buy a pack that you open up, and it tells you what picture you own, digital image.
Yeah, the moment you own. So, I know Mike at Winless Champs just opened one on his channel, so we'll pop that on, and you can see. There's a guy on Instagram, Lemmy James. He does all the memes or whatever. I think that's his name. He just opened one from All-Star Weekend, and yeah, I don't get it. I just heard somebody kind of explain like why they're into it.
Mm-hmm.
Which made me say, okay, and I still don't know why I would wait. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was listening to somebody in there. think Wax Museum podcast, and I think this is what he was talking about. And one of his collecting friends was like, I don't know, but you can make money in it, so I'm doing it. And it's kind of the same thing. He doesn't get it, but you can make money in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a lot of things, obviously, that in the hobby right now, if you can make money on it, we just don't act upon any of that stuff.
Right.
We really should. Like blockchain, you finally jumped in. And
well, the thing is like, there's a lot of money to be made in the digital world.
Yep.
That like, you literally like, you see these videos and you go, it can't be that easy. It can't, can it? If you don't try, you don't know.
Right.
We're used to going in and like putting in a day's work and making a day's wage. It's like, and I've always known that there's exponential wealth on if you get into the internet, because you're making money 24 hours a day while you're sleeping and stuff. And the
person that I watched described it as owning a painting, and I don't get what he's saying, because it's not like you own the moment, but I can go on YouTube and copy the moment. I mean, I don't know, but he's like, there's something about having the one from TopShot, you own that moment. Like I always thought, well, do you own that moment? Like people would have to pay you to use it. Do you own a license to it? And then it's nothing like that. But he likened it to people having reprints and people using it and knowing you're the one that has that moment. So it's kind of a clout thing, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, dude, like I said, we both shake our heads, but people do it, and we're going to look like idiots here talking about it. But that's, I'm trying to be open to collecting and changing my collecting habits a little bit. I know, everybody goes through change and since I wasn't able to find retail, I stepped up and bought those bigger cards for us. Those are pretty big cards. And just had a lot of fun with a little Instagram post that I made of Run TMC.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen. I'm really finding that I have to find something that excites me to want to buy it, and then I'll do it. Like I just found a subset that I'm going to go after. And it'll be fun, but it's going to be a long process, which is hard for me because I want to do it now. Mm-hmm. But I'm just trying to find the enjoyment in it, because not finding retail, getting some cards are just crazy expensive. I'm like, well, I'm not going to own that. Like Justin Jefferson autos and stuff. I'm like, that's not in the cards for me.
No, it's not in the cards for me either.
A lot of the reason that it's not in the cards for me, though, is because when I first got back into collecting, I think I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but I'm like, it's hard for me to collect because I don't want to collect somebody that's not going to be on the team in exactly.
A couple years. I was actually
who the player was Stephon Diggs. I got a jersey of Stephon Diggs. Not that I can't still like Stephon Diggs, but he doesn't play for the Vikings.
Mm-hmm. I actually, I told you, like, I got back into collecting hard after Mike Zimmer became the coach of the Vikings. And I hadn't invested in the players and loving the players like I did when I was a kid for like 20 years. And I love Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes and Everson Griffin and Diggs, and all those guys left last year. Now Danielle Hunter's unhappy with his contract. And I'm like, if all these, I'm just the new guys that are replacing them, I haven't invested in those guys like I did that group of guys that Zimmer originally started with. And I was just thinking, like, while you were talking, I was like thinking about the fact that all these old school basketball players, all those guys really kind of stuck to their teams for quite a while. You actually said, I can't believe that Run TMC was actually only together for two years.
2 years.
It seems so much longer to me, but like, I was thinking about the fact that you're a Michael Jordan fan. And I don't know if you went through that same, like, if you were a fan of Michael Jordan whenever he was trying to break through the Celtics and the Pistons to finally make it to the finals. I don't know if you went through that heartbreak of watching him get knocked out of the playoffs every year. I mean, it took him 7?
Yeah. And the whole thing is like, I've never been invested in any team that much where it's been, I'm like, it might be like, oh, that sucks, but never, I don't know. It's weird. I've never had that kind of attachment.
I was a Pistons fan back from when it was just basically Isaiah and Bill, and they had Kelly Tripucka made their big three, and they traded him to get Adrian Dantley. They brought Joe Dumars in and Vinnie Johnson, and then they added Dennis and John Sally, and then they traded Dantley for Aguirre, and they added James Edwards somewhere in that mix, and just I watched them build that team, and I watched them get knocked out by the Celtics year after year. They finally make it to the finals, and Magic and the Lakers. Isaiah has like one of the most. He has a Willis Reed Game 6 to force a Game 7, and he can't play in Game 7, and the Lakers took. And it was like that was the year the Pistons were going to get win their title. Yeah, and then the next year they swept the Lakers.
Right.
Yeah. So and because like it was such a sweet moment that took so long, like it was definitely like I was just a kid at the team, and I was like sipping the champagne.
Right. So yeah, another thing that happened recently that I just wanted to mention, just because I happened to be looking over at some of these kid reporters. So I don't usually rip off camera because we don't rip a lot, but I have some buddies that had opened some playoff football, and I had a blaster, and they were showing me pictures, and I'm like, dang it, I want to open a box. And I have a son, he's 3, and he knows dad does card stuff, and he always sees us on YouTube if it's on, and he says Lorn, and so he's still he doesn't see you really, but he knows. And I was like, hey, Owen, do you want to sit on my lap and we'll open a box? His eyes got so big, and he just thought that was the coolest thing. And I opened the first pack, and there was a kid reporter. I'm like, well, I can let him have a kid reporter. He's not going to hurt that. And I gave it to him, and he got so excited. And it just kind of reminded me, like so often I watch videos and let's get past the base, let's get to the good stuff. And I'm just like, man, my son was so excited about a kid reporter. It was such a good feeling. And I was like, well, I wonder if he'll recognize. And a couple packs later, I hit another one. Dad, can I have that one? And so he got all the kid reporters. He carried them around all night.
Nice.
It was super exciting, man. And it just reminded me, got to find joy in the hobby. Got to find joy in the collecting. And I know Brian at Tops Vintage, he's collect like you're a kid. And that never so evident when my son was walking around with kid reporters.
Yeah.
That was exciting stuff. Find something that you enjoy, really. That's what I'm going to go back to,
Yeah, that's such a cool story. It just brings you back to like the 80s when you were ripping packs
from a twin or a Viking or just somebody in your team. It wasn't about the hit. It was about the not that there's anything wrong with that at this point, but I see so many people, like I got boxes of base and that I just wasn't all excited about. And then, Owen reminded me that, the base is pretty cool too.
Shoot, dude, in the 80s, you'd open up a pack, whether it be like Topps and it was a future star.
Yeah.
Or Donruss, a rated rookie, or even the little Topps rookie, all rookie cups. And you just and you didn't have the internet to go search these guys out. You're just like, I hope this guy's a good rookie.
Right.
Some of the guys you knew were good, but other guys you were just like, and I think you just stayed tuned into I just felt like I had so much more time and was watching Sports Center and stuff like that and be like, oh, wow, that guy just hit, you just I followed sports a lot closer when I was a kid.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Well, man, I think we touched on just about everything we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. What do you guys do to enjoy the hobby? Are you having to change anything? I guess I'm just kind of curious. I've been really struggling lately, what direction I want to go.
I know that last week we had the TTM roundtable, and I mean, that's something that I have interest in as well. I mean, there's so many avenues where you don't have to pay flipper prices on retail, or you can't afford a hobby box I buy singles, and even I showed you some new cards that I'm like, oh dude, I want to get one of these. And the thing went, that Panini one that I showed you yesterday.
Right.
It was out of 15 and it went for like $200. And I was like, I don't know if I showed you the end price. I think it was at like 100. I'm like, I'm already off of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, even buying singles is expensive nowadays.
Yeah. The box prices are, up there. So the singles prices are up there.
One thing, I know a lot of people think that I'm just like, I score all these steals on eBay. And I made somebody, and they say I'm the king of the 10 unders and all that. Or I got a talent for it. It's not talent. It's I spend way too much time on eBay. I have 140 plus searches now that I don't check every single day. Some days I can check them a few times a day if I have time. Other day, if I don't check it one day, I almost dread checking it the next day and the next day.
Right. It's through a lot of diligence and work and paying attention. And
because I'm watching and I'm bidding, I'm managing my watch list by like bidding on cards. Even I bid on cards because I don't have enough room in my watch list, and I win a very, very small percentage of cards that I buy that I bid on or I'm watching. Very small. You also
know what to expect.
Yep. And
that card's only at $10 and the last one sold for $40.
Yeah.
Oh, I really need to pay attention to this one.
Yeah. And that I know comps. I mean, I don't need to look up comps. And I'm looking for cards that are specifically in my collecting wheelhouse.
Yep.
I'm not. Shoot, dude, I don't even pay like. I could have probably made like $1,000 selling Taylor Heineke cards like during playoff time. If I had any idea that his card, like I don't collect Taylor Heineke. I have some in basically a Vikings Commons box as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I'm like, dude, I don't even know if I have any. And I went through, I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yep, I got some.
And that's dumb. It's so dumb that I don't, I'm not calling people dumb, but it's, I don't know why people are like jump on that hot, like, how do cards go from like Taylor Heineke to me is going to be a career backup quarterback. The only way he's ever going to become a starter is if the guy in front of him gets hurt at the beginning of the season and he does have like a Tom Brady like season and steals the job away from the Drew Bledsoe on that team,
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. He's not a $200 card to me. He's a $5 to $10 card, autograph card, not two. I mean, they were going $200-300.
I know. It's crazy. Interesting stuff, man.
Yeah.
If we ever took, I don't want to say take advantage, but if we ever were on top of things.
Yeah, and that's just not I'm not wired. I'm not looking, like whenever I see cards go up, I'm not thinking I should be selling them. I'm thinking, well, I ain't buying that anymore.
Right.
I'm not thinking about the ones that I have that I could sell.
Yeah.
And I think I got to like actually rewire and be like, okay, I'll sell some of these. And once he has another bad game, I'll pick him up again literally like when Josh Rosen got signed to the Niners active roster, I couldn't buy his cards for a couple weeks. And then they settled back down. And it was like, oh, they just signed him to be the backup. It's like people actually like think he's going to get to start. It's like, no, they just don't have any healthy quarterbacks on their roster to back up. I think it was Beathard at the time. Was he the one that was in and out the season?
I think that's what it was. Yeah. Interesting stuff, man. Interesting. Well, thanks for joining us today. We said 10 minutes ago that we were going to wrap it up, so we'll wrap it up now. Episode 177 to a close.
SkoL Brothers out.
Cool.